I really want you to take this from me, bro. If you're a nice guy, it will ruin your life. My whole life has been unique. I grew up poor in the ghetto. And if you know what that's like, bro, it's chaos. Fights, drugs, crimes. Bro, police, like, that was just normal. And after my father left, bro, my life got even more harder than it was just growing up in the ghetto. I had a lot of family problems. And I saw a lot of things, heard a lot of things, went through a lot. And I actually had a lot of things happen to me, bro. And it's funny, because my life took a weird turn. In my younger years, I was this super friendly, nice guy, like overly nice guy. And that's funny because in my later years, I became a drug addict. But see, I remember how my life was when I was this young, nice guy. And I never stood up for myself. I was always someone that never wanted to kind of rough the waters. I always let kind of people dictate my life for me and never set boundaries. I remember how I felt. Now, being a nice guy isn't always that bad, but there are certain characteristics a nice guy never bestows upon himself that you must, if you want to be a good man that conquers, has more, does more, sees more. See, there's a difference. A nice guy and a good man are two completely different humans. A nice guy is usually someone, and I get this because I felt this way, someone that just never puts himself out there. Never kind of goes against the grain. And usually this is because this is how I felt. It's usually accompanied by just so many insecurities. That lack of self-esteem, that lack of confidence. I felt that. And as I got older, especially around the age of 20, my life took a turn for the worse. See, my whole life up until the age of 16, I was overly nice. I started using drugs. And then for 4 years, that was my whole life. Drugs and hanging with the wrong people and doing all of that stuff. But at 20, I got to a point where I didn't even know if I was going to be around anymore. And of course, I still am. And I always felt myself, I needed to change. But I could not get what I wanted out of my life if I stayed and had these traits that I always just kind of had in me of this super nice guy. So I had to change my life and get on my self-improvement journey, which in turn created me into a good man. A nice guy and a good man are always good people, but a good man instills and bestows characteristics that a nice guy just doesn't have, which is standing up for himself, getting back up when life gets in your way, putting yourself out there, taking risks, believing in yourself. And now, of course, nice guys have these things to an extent, but not nearly as enough as what a good man has. And if you want to achieve more, if you want to have more out of your life, become a man that's well versed, that has stories, that's capable, well then you must become a good man that always has his life set on a trajectory of success, learning, developing, overcoming. This is what it means to be a good man. Standing up for yourself is a number one tenet of living true to you. Alongside that, moving forward when life gets in your way by just staying true to you will always set you apart from what it means to be a nice guy. There is a real reason this quote saying exists. Nice guys finish last. They do. Because when a good man, a masculine male, a man that's somewhat been through a lot, is so focused, so determined, is next to a nice guy, he runs over that nice guy and takes what he believes is his. You will never be disadvantaged, never, by being a good person. Always being nice, always being pleasant, always doing good, not being a bad person. But you must bestow traits that a good man has, which is always going to benefit you so much more than the traits that a nice guy has. Life is never easy when you're a nice guy or even a good man. Life is hard, bro, but a good man will always outperform and win than a nice guy. And I say this to you because I've been both. Always strive to be a good man, a man that stands up for himself, does more, puts himself out there, but always be courteous, pleasant, and good to people, but always know when to stand your ground and keep going. Love you, bro.